Hey everybody, what is going on? It is Pokemon Master, the man who is way better at Pokemon than RogersBase, Mr. Josh Thomas here.
Actually, before you introduce me, I was going to say you should actually say what your real title is, which is Disgusting Trump Voter Josh Thomas.
It's Disgusting Trump Voter Josh Thomas here, also known as Pokemon Master. You think Donald Trump isn't... He's playing Pokemon Go right now. You know?
Donald Trump probably is playing Pokemon Go.
He has the best Pokemon.
I would not be surprised.
The Trump wall is going to be a massive Pokemon gym.
Oh, dude, there'll be Pokestops all the way down.
Now who you voting for?
We're going to build a wall with Pokestops all over. It's going to be you.
That would be a great campaign for him to run right now. My God.
Pokestops for everyone, yeah.
So me and Roger are sitting back here, and we're just going to do a casual discussion about Pokemon Go. Obviously, everybody knows what Pokemon Go is. It is like the biggest app of all time. Is that correct?
Yep.
Wow. It broke records in like 2 days? My God.
So apparently, it is the #1 highest, fastest growing app in the history of phone apps.
That's amazing.
Beyond Clash of Clans, beyond everything. And it's only been available for 1 weekend. And I think they said it makes like something like $1 million a day or something, just through people buying the Pokeballs. So,
nice.
Yeah, it's doing really well.
So, Roger, we're just going to talk about our experiences with this game and what we like, what we don't like. To completely admit, you are the bigger Pokemon fan, so why don't you go first?
Sure. So I downloaded it 2 days after it came out. Pretty much everybody had tried downloading it, and I tried downloading it, but I couldn't get into the actual game. It kept glitching out. And so then I finally was able to link up my account and do all the stuff you need to do. Started playing the game. I chose Squirtle, by the way. Who was your starter? Squirtle? Cool. So
yeah.
we both chose the right Pokemon. I should know that because you love underwater stuff and Ariel and Jaws.
Ocean.
So
yeah.
Exactly. So of course you choose Squirtle. But yeah, so I chose Squirtle. I probably would have chosen Pikachu had I known about that thing where if you wait for 5 minutes and then walk around the block, like Pikachu shows up. So had I known that, I probably would have started with Pikachu. But I'm happy I started with Squirtle. Unfortunately, though, I haven't found any Squirtles anywhere else, so I haven't been able to actually level up my starter. But because I live in LA, surrounded by mountains, there's tons of rare-ish Pokemon around me. So there's fossil types, Machops, Geodudes, pretty much any of the fire types, so like Vulpix and Ponyta and Growlithe are all over the place in LA. And I found some really rare stuff too, so yeah, I've been having a blast with Pokemon Go.
Do you remember after Squirtle, what was the first Pokemon you found?
Let me look right now, actually. I think you can look based on when you caught them, if I'm correct. So hold on, let me pull up the app. And Pokemon recent, who was the very first one? Oh, it was a Mankey, actually. It was a Mankey.
Okay.
Yeah. And then actually, I just left it there and it was starred because it was the first thing I caught. But I never actually used that Mankey because I caught a Primeape at the Under Armour store in the Americana and it was way more powerful. And so that Mankey just sat there and will sit there forever.
So the first one I caught was a Venonat? What's a Venonat?
Oh, yeah. So that's actually pretty good.
I
actually have not run into a Venonat yet.
Yeah, that's got to be one of my favorite Pokemon just by the way that it looks.
Yeah, little fuzzy purple bug with red eyeballs.
So, I've actually started this game and it took me forever to find a Pokemon because I was trying to find them in the area that I jog in, which is a cemetery, and for some reason there were no Pokemon in the cemetery.
Well, there were probably no Pokestops near you.
No, there's actually a lot of those, or gyms, right?
Well, they're not. So gyms are the little gray terminal things that change to yellow, red, or blue depending on what team takes over. By the way, what team are you?
I don't even think I'm a team.
What level are you?
I'm a level 4.
Oh, so you're right there. You're about to choose a team. Choose Team Mystic. That's the blue team. That's the team I'm on. That's the team that winners are on. Everybody's on Team Mystic if you're a winner.
Why do a lot of people hate the red team?
Because Valor's whatever. Valor's just bleh.
A lot of
you're either Team Mystic or you're Team Instinct. And I don't even say Valor's bleh because of the people who joined Valor. It's just that I think that later on, when there ends up being event Pokemon, I think depending on your team, you're probably going to get whatever bird is representative of your team. So if you're Mystic, you'll probably be able to find Articuno. If you're Instinct, you'll find Zapdos. And if you're Valor, you'll find Moltres. And everybody knows that of the 3 birds, Moltres is by far the worst of the legendary birds. Even if the people on Team Valor are cool, you guys by far have the worst mascot bird. By far. Articuno and Zapdos are way cooler, so...
What is a Pidgeotto?
Definitely not a legendary.
I found that in the grocery store, and it took me like 6 Pokeballs to get it.
Yeah.
Kept it
Pidgeotto is actually pretty good if you found one just running in the wild, because Pidgey are everywhere, but Pidgeotto is a little bit rare. And you found it in a grocery store?
In the aisle of the grocery store.
So we should actually talk about what's been the weirdest place that we've found Pokemon so far. That would be fun.
Okay, you start then.
All right, so I found, actually, a little bit of backstory. Do you know what Twitch Plays Pokemon is?
Yeah, that's when they just have like some automatic robot thing playing Pokemon.
Right, and the whole meme that erupted from that was that the Helix fossil was actually like the thing that they would pray to during the streams, and they called the Helix fossil Lord Helix. And the Helix fossil, when you give it to the guy who revives fossils, turns into an Ammonite. And I happened to be at the Barnes & Noble in the Americana that you have actually been to when you stayed at my place before. And in the Christian Book Center of Barnes & Noble, I found an Ammonite sitting there. And I don't know if they put it there because it was the Christian Book Center and they thought it'd be funny because, like, the Lord Helix religious stuff. I don't know. But I found Ammonites in the Christian book section of my local Barnes & Noble.
Aren't the Pokemon randomly generated, or?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's certain types of Pokemon in certain areas. So for example, like what I brought up earlier, because I'm in a mountainous region that's hot, that's probably why I have a lot of fire types and mountain Pokemon around me. Whereas like by you, because you guys like have forested areas and like water, you guys have, you know, Venonats and Poliwags and stuff like that. And I haven't seen Venonats or Poliwags at all near me. And one thing I really want is a Poliwhirl, and I haven't been able to find one anywhere. And I haven't found a Lickitung anywhere either. I don't think there's Lickitungs in LA. So we have fossil types though, so I guess that's cool. But I really badly want a Lickitung. It's my favorite Pokemon, Josh.
I want to find one before you so bad.
You probably will. You probably will.
I'm finding a lot of bug Pokemon and water-like Pokemon.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, everybody says Caterpie and Weedle are really easy to find. I have not found any Caterpie or Weedle beyond, like, the first one that I found. And it was at the Americana, and it was, like, randomly generated. So, yeah, I haven't seen any other bug types around here.
Is it a good idea to capture... This is, by the way, this is just like a selfish discussion because I just wanted to ask you a bunch of questions.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, people probably want to know these answers too, yeah.
So is it logical to capture the same kind of Pokemon more than once?
Yes, yeah, because you want to use those duplicates to then transfer to the professor, and then you get the candies that they come with and the Stardust that they provide when you catch them, and then you could use the Stardust and the candies to level up your other Pokemon or evolve your other Pokemon. So yeah, you absolutely want to catch duplicates, and so long as you're around Pokestops where you can regularly like refresh the Pokestop to get more Pokeballs, you're never going to run out of Pokeballs, and you should just always catch duplicates.
Okay. I was actually at a Pokestop. There's like several of them where I jog, but
yeah.
What do you do when you get there?
So when you click on the Pokestop, the little like circle shows up, and then when you spin the circle with your finger, Pokeballs or potions or lots of other items will show up there.
And what if I'm spinning it and nothing comes up?
Then you just have to try again later.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I remember, it's so funny because like I downloaded this because so many people were talking about it, and I actually do like Pokemon spin-off games more than like the main games.
Yeah, you always have. You love Pokemon Snap, so.
I know that's weird to some people. But there was like definitely this little like magical moment for me when I was like, oh my god, it's like got a GPS and it knows where I am, and it's like turning everything around me into these little Pokestops and gyms, and
it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's taken over everything. Everybody everywhere is playing this game. And I mean, rightfully so. I think it's a really cool idea. And, you know, I guess this will go into another part of the discussion, but like the big complaint I have right now, the only real complaint I have about this is right now, as of recording this, which is the first Wednesday since it's come out, it is glitchy as all hell. Like, sometimes the game won't load up properly, sometimes your GPS thing won't work, sometimes it'll freeze and you catch a Pokemon. And I think over time, they're going to iron out, you know, all of those problems and all those glitches. But in the meantime, we just have to deal with them. But if you could look past the glitches, I mean, for one thing, it's free. And for another thing, too, it's like the best way to find other people who are like Pokemon fans. Because you'll be randomly at a location, you'll see people, you'll see them on your phones, and they'll be like, oh, are you a Pokemon fan? They'll be like, yeah, I'm looking for the Arbok that's around here right now, or I'm looking for the rare Arcanine that's around the corner. So, yeah, it's a really cool way to meet people, and I've been having a blast with it.
Can you take Pokemon from other people? Like, if you both go for one of the same Pokemon in the same area, if one of you gets it, does the other one still have a chance to get it? Or
Yeah. So I think it just works where there's like Pokemon that will show up nearby, but if I catch an Omanyte, for example, and then you see the Omanyte, you could still catch the Omanyte.
So we would see the same Pokemon though. Like it's not like you see somebody. Okay, so that's good. I was gonna say that would kind of really ruin it for me if you don't actually see the same Pokemon.
Yeah, like a perfect example of this is a couple of my friends were actually at Santa Monica Pier the other day, and there was a Wartortle that appeared on the pier, and like hundreds of people who were playing it all down Santa Monica Pier all ran to the one location where the Wartortle was based on their nearby footsteps. So like there's a video out there, I think Sky Williams took it, where it's like all these people running down Santa Monica Pier to try to catch the Wartortle. And that's happened before. Like there was a Jolteon in the middle of the Americana near the fountain. I was on my lunch break from work, and the Jolteon just happened to sort of appear, and then all the people in the Americana who were on their phones all ran towards the fountain to catch the Jolteon. And pretty much everybody got it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's the biggest appeal to this game, how it's like, it's almost like it's a quality, now Nintendo's like, we're doing quality of life things, it's almost like this is kind of that, because everybody's like getting out and going to do stuff.
Totally.
And like interacting socially with each other with it. Pokemon, they have levels, right?
Yeah, so the Pokemon have levels, and it's weird how it works, because the levels are basically CP in this game.
Right, I was going to say, what's CP?
Yeah. So CP are like battle points. It's the equivalent of having a level in this. And since you don't level up your Pokemon like level 1 to level 2 to level 3, like through battling other trainers, you actually level them up through, using the candies and using Stardust and battling gyms. Because of that, they sort of changed up the way that you evolve your Pokemon and the way that you level up your Pokemon. So your Pokemon get more powerful, and your Pokemon can evolve through the candies and through the Stardust. It isn't through battling other trainers. Though you do get experience for yourself once you go through gyms and sort of take over gyms. And that's been a lot of fun for me, is like walking around, because there's Pokestops all over by me. Like I'm in a very heavily populated area of LA. And there's Pokestops everywhere. And the fun part has been to like walk a couple blocks to a gym that I see is actually run by like another team, and then just like annihilating that gym with like my level 1000 Arcanine, and just obliterating the gym and then taking it over for Team Mystic. And then seeing somebody of my team in real life walking by and like, oh, are you here for the gym? And I'm like, yeah, I just took over, I'm Team Mystic. And they're like, oh, I'm Team Mystic too, I'll reinforce the gym for you. I think that's like so cool.
Yeah, I agree. That is really... And one of my favorite things about this, and again, I haven't like played it as much as most people, but I can already sense that it's like, this was definitely built for a phone. This isn't like they didn't just make a Candy Crush clone or something that's like a basic game. They really thought about what could Pokemon be like on a phone. Using the GPS thing is really cool, and having the camera make the Pokemon look like they're in real life. And even though it's not the most impressive effect, I think it's good enough to give you that little moment of like, ooh, there's a Pikachu in the grocery store or at the gas station or something. So I think, yeah, I really like that this is designed for a phone.
And I think it sort of gives me hope for the other Nintendo games that are coming, right? Because I think a lot of people, Miitomo took over the zeitgeist for like a day on social media, but it did not blow up the way this blew up, because there wasn't really anything to do beyond like answering questions that first day. There wasn't really a lot of other stuff to do on Miitomo, and I still check Miitomo to get like the little outfits and stuff, but really, I mean, I don't use it anywhere near as frequently as I use Pokemon Go. And I think Nintendo sort of learned, and I think a lot of this is also due in part to Niantic, who's the team that developed the game. But it sort of gives me hope for the other games that are coming out for phones, because you could tell, like you said, like Nintendo really focused on how to make this game fun for people playing on their phone. Like they looked at the phone like a dedicated platform, almost kind of like how they looked at the Wii U or they looked at the 3DS. Like if they're going to develop something for it, take full advantage of the platform. So yeah, overall, I'm having a blast. I think first thing you need to do though, you need to go on another run today, and you need to get to level 5 so you could choose Team Mystic and you could actually battle gyms and stuff, because that's when the game really starts to get fun.
Right, so it's annoying because right at the entrance to where I jog, there is a gym. And I always, like when I first started playing, I thought I'd just click on that and then I would get the Pokemon or something. And so it's been taunting me for days now. I'm like, oh, I want to go there. And I'm just like so close to being that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm really excited. It's a really clever thing. Like I said, like I think a lot of people had that initial feeling of like, I don't want Nintendo games on phones because I like Nintendo games on a Nintendo console. But I think what we're learning is that it's like, you can have both. Like,
right.
There can be games that are totally not possible on a console, like Pokemon Go. And they don't step on the feet of a potential Pokemon game for NX or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's pretty fun, and I'm early on. It's have you like tried to get any Pokemon by driving around?
So I haven't at all, and the main reason why is because I live in Los Angeles. I already am at a high risk of dying in a car accident in LA. I don't need to raise that risk even higher by having my phone out looking for a Pokemon. And the thing is, it was on like the local news actually. They're like the LA Department of Traffic or whatever put out a thing saying, don't Pokemon Go and drive. And they had like an image of like a Pikachu on a dashboard. So, I mean, it has become an issue. And I've seen people like driving around with signs in the windows like, sorry for the frequent stops, I'm looking for Clefairy or whatever, which is just like ludicrous to me. It's like, get off your fat ass and walk around and find the Pokemon for yourself. You don't need to drive around to find your Pokemon. You know what I actually would love to do? I'd love to partner with like a bike company and like have my Pokemon Go attached to the front of my bike and then bike around LA and like find other locations and do like a sponsored video where I'm like biking around using this bike and finding other Pokemon. Because I feel like that encourages the healthy lifestyle that Pokemon Go is encouraging. Not like, you know, driving around LA with the thing on your dashboard. That's stupid. And at least you have a bike in the real Pokemon games, so that would make sense.
Well, the funny thing is, I love how there's been like news reports talking about how this is like a dangerous app that parents shouldn't let their kids use. It's so funny how the news would turn it into that instead of being like a new Pokemon game encourages exercise and
I think a lot of it they just like think they're weird stories. Like there was the one girl who found a dead body through like the app, and then
Kotaku's like, "Did you get the Pokemon?"
Yeah, exactly. But I think the other thing about it too is it is kind of dangerous. Like. There was that one guy who like robbed some people late at night for like putting up a Pokestop. But honestly, the game tells you right from the get-go, be alert of your surroundings. If you're like a couple blocks away and you see some shady dude standing there by himself like refreshing a lure, don't go by him, obviously. That's like...
Yeah, the loading screen for the damn game is like, hey, be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, it literally tells you, be aware of your surroundings, so...
So yeah, I mean, is there anything else? There's so many questions that I have. What is the camera for?
So the camera's just for fun, to like share on social media and be like, oh my god, look at this Pokemon I found. Like, as a fan of Pokemon Snap, you should totally be taking funny pictures.
So I have been, but I've just been using my phone's like I've just been pressing the power button and the volume button at once.
Oh, you could do that. You could screenshot it off your phone, but it's actually better to do it through the app because it like puts your username on the bottom and it geotags it for you.
Is it a high quality image? Like,
it's a super high quality image.
And what is an egg incubator?
So an egg incubator is at certain Pokestop locations when you refresh, you'll be given eggs. Or when you level up at certain times, you'll be given eggs as well. And what'll happen is you could put an egg in an egg incubator and then walk around. And then after walking like either 2 kilometers, 5 kilometers, or 10 kilometers, you'll hatch a Pokemon out of that egg. And those Pokemon are usually Pokemon that you can't find in your regular location. The ones that are like 2-kilometer eggs are usually more common eggs. The 5-kilometer ones are rarer things. And the 10-kilometer ones are usually really good. So somebody who was near me actually hatched a 10-kilometer and it was a Lapras, which is like really rare. So you can hatch pretty rare Pokemon from the eggs. I haven't actually had a 10-kilometer egg myself, but from the 5-kilometer eggs, I mean, I hatched, let me look. I hatched Bellsprouts. What else did I hatch? I hatched Bellsprout, Staryu, Tauros. So I mean, you can get kind of rare stuff through the eggs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the incense, you just drop those and it attracts more Pokemon to you,
yeah,
right?
So like if you're on your run and you're not really near any Pokestops, if you want to make sure that you still find Pokemon on your run, just set an incense up.
And then it'll stay where I dropped it on the GPS, right?
No, it'll stay wherever you're going. So it'll follow you around.
So it follows me.
Yeah, for sure.
Ah, okay.
So that way you could still walk around and earn like your steps for hatching your Pokemon, but at the same time you could find new Pokemon.
I see. And then, I already know this, but I just want to clarify.
Mm-hmm.
When you see Pokemon that have like the little footsteps, like it's 3, 2, or 1, or none, and if you have none, that means they're right by you, right?
That means they're right by you, yeah.
Right by you!
3, 2, or 1, then you just walk around in the different directions, you test it out, and you see where they are.
Awesome.
That gets super infuriating sometimes, though, because there was a Kabutops that showed up, which, by the way, is like crazy. A Kabutops, not Kabuto, Kabutops, showed up at the Gundale Galleria when I was walking around it. And it said there was 3 footsteps away, and I was like near one side of the Galleria, and I was on the top floor, so like I couldn't figure out where it was, and I like was walking around the parking lot, and I was walking around the Galleria, and I could not find it anywhere, and I have no idea where it was set up, and I literally walked all over like in a 5-mile radius to try to find this Kabutops. So sometimes I'm still not really sure how it works, and by that time, sometimes the Kabutops will like, or the whatever other rare Pokemon, not just Kabutops, the other rare Pokemon will like disappear by the time you finally find them, and that's kind of aggravating. But I mean, I understand why they do it, because it's like a big shocking event when you see a rare Pokemon. So of course you want to like try to find it as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Are there any plans, did they talk about updating it with adding even more generations of Pokemon, or are they like really sticking to the original?
I think for the next year, they'll probably be sticking to the original. Because I mean, even in the time that everyone's been playing it nonstop, I mean, I only really have like 20, 25 breeds of Pokemon. So it's going to take a while to actually find all the Pokemon from the first gens. And I'm betting they'll probably end up doing like an event where you get the birds. And then they'll probably have a Mewtwo event, and they'll probably have a Mew event as well. So I'm imagining that for those 5 Pokemon, there'll probably be 5 different events like later on in the year to sort of get people involved in the game again in case they dropped it after like the first month or so. So and then on top of that, the news came out this morning that it was found in the data of the game that they're going to be doing like sponsored events at real life locations.
I was going to
so
say
like,
that, yeah.
Yeah, McDonald's, there's going to be like McDonald's events where the McDonald's become gyms and you could find rare Pokemon there. And that's fine because I go to McDonald's anyway. So I'll be sitting there for my, my breakfast at McDonald's trying to find a Lickitung. So
yeah, I can see them definitely being smart enough to say, hey, let's partner with some sort of business and have a special rare Pokemon.
They should definitely have Snorlax at McDonald's. Like, there's no reason that the fat Snorlax isn't at McDonald's.
It would make sense.
Yeah, they should definitely do that.
So yeah, I mean, I think we both agree this is a pretty fantastic app.
It's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Have you spent any money?
No.
None?
Spending money on a phone app? You're funny, Josh.
Do you ever plan on spending money on it?
Never. No, never.
Somehow they're making a lot of money off of it, though.
Well, yeah, because a lot of people are lazy and they want to sit in their home and not actually go out walking, so they buy the incense and they like just sit in their house and refresh to find Pokemon, or they run out of Pokeballs and they're too lazy to walk around the Pokestops, so they buy more Pokeballs, so they buy Great Balls or whatever, or they end up running out of potions because they haven't been checking at the Pokestops, but they've been battling too much and they need to heal up their Pokemon because they're impatient. So yeah, nothing in any phone app will ever get me to actually pay money on the phone app, ever. And I think that's a sign of a good game if you can play the game to its basically full potential without ever having to pay anything, but it's still like allowing people to pay for stuff if they sort of want to like get a leg up or they're just being lazy. So I think they're doing it the right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be going to Disney World and Universal Studios.
We are. We're doing a bunch of Pokemon Go videos at Disney World. We'll probably do one from Magic Kingdom, one from Epcot, one from Universal. We'll probably split the Universal ones up via park. And then we'll probably end up doing one specifically from the Frozen ride when we're in line as well. So, yeah, we got at least 5 Pokemon Go videos going up. And then whichever ones you want to do and whichever ones I want to do, we'll just split them up and put them on our channels. So it'll be a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun to see what Pokemon show up around Mickey's hometown.
It's going to be really fun.
Hey, Roger.
Yes?
Do you want to let people know where they can find you?
Sure. Well, if you aren't already following me, I feel like by this point, if you're listening to a discussion with me and Josh, you probably already know where to find me. I'm RogersBase everywhere, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Miiverse, everywhere. Find me, RogersBase. Definitely follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. And of course on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to me on YouTube already, but you're listening to this, like, what's, in the words of Reggie Fils-Aimé, what's wrong with you?
So yeah, I'm looking forward to, I'm going to do a review for Pokemon Go, even though it's a little bit pointless because it's a free app. But as I get to know it more, I'm going to do a review, talk about it, and that'll be coming up soon.
Sounds like a plan, Josh, buddy, pal.
Thank you so much for talking about Pokemans with me. It's so fun to be able to like talk with you about Pokemon because usually I'm like, yeah, I don't care what is this thing, and then
but you like it now. I know you're like excited.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.